Hello there, my fellow notebook aficionados. This is the all-new HP Omen Transcend 14, and it tries to blur the lines between a gaming notebook and an everyday lifestyle performance machine. With a super sleek chassis, great build quality and a gorgeous OLED panel, it seems to be on the right track. However, with a dedicated GPU capped at just 65 watts, it will have a hard time competing with the ROG G14 or even the Blade 14. But pure performance isn't everything, so let's see what this puppy can do right after the intro. The spec sheet reads quite well for HP's smallest family member in the gaming portfolio. Alongside the already mentioned 65 watts RTX 4060, we get Intel's Core Ultra 7 155H with a 1TB SSD. And I can already hear your disappointment, just 16 gigs of soldered DDR5 memory running at 7467 MHz. You can upgrade to a 4070 config with a Core Ultra 9 and 32 gigs of RAM, or go the other way with a 4050 and less storage. My first hands-on experience with the Omen was at CES a few months ago, and while I initially liked the sleek chassis, it felt a little plasticky and flimsy when picking it up. But I do not know what it was. Maybe it was just my brain being fried after being on the show floor for hours on end, or maybe it was a pre-production unit. But I was genuinely surprised when unboxing our review sample. The 14-incher feels incredibly premium with a solidly built all-metal chassis that feels and looks the part for a premium notebook. The hinges, on the other hand, could be a little stiffer to prevent screen wobble, and as with almost every other black laptop, it attracts fingerprints like crazy. I have always been a fan of HP's Omen design, and with minimal branding and clean lines, the smallest of the bunch is no exception, and you can easily take this one to class or the office without raising any suspicions about what you like to do after work. With its slightly elongated backside and very special looking keyboard and overall styling, the 14-incher looks subdued without being boring, and easily manages to create its own easily recognizable identity. The Omen 14 also delivers when it comes to I/O with a very usable and well-arranged layout. On the right you get a pair of USB-A 3.2 Gen 2, while the left houses a Thunderbolt 4 alongside the audio combo port. In the back you get an additional USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 and an HDMI 2.1. You should only keep in mind that only the USB-C at the rear can take the full 140 watts from the included power brick. You can still use the left port for charging, but it will be slower, which might reduce performance to some extent. In our wireless transfer tests, the Transcend delivers adequate but not groundbreaking results. And while it does come with a Wi-Fi 7 card, we still have to upgrade our test routers to see what you can expect from the new standard.
For your virtual meeting marathons, HP adds a 2-megapixel webcam, which is alright, even though we would have wished they opted for the 9-megapixel variant from their very own Spectre X360.
Unfortunately, the Omen follows in the footsteps of ROG's latest G14 when it comes to maintenance. This means you can only upgrade your NVMe drive, while the remaining components are soldered to the motherboard. In the input department, HP also did a stellar job. The keycaps with the translucent edges and 4-zone RGB illumination not only look amazing, but I really enjoy the overall feel of the switches. Travel is limited, as is quite common for such thin devices, but you get a very pronounced tactile bump with a very satisfying overall feedback, and I personally enjoyed typing quite a few scripts on this one. The trackpad does its job without any hiccups as well, even though the surface can feel a little sticky from time to time. The 120Hz OLED is an old acquaintance by now, since it offers a similar experience than the ones we just recently experienced during our lifestyle everyday notebook roundup from a few weeks ago. So once more you get average brightness results with stellar contrast numbers and great color gamut coverage. Calibration for the HP is lacking quite a bit, even though you can get much better results with manual calibration. If you do not own the necessary hardware yourself, you can download our profile from our website. Our measured response times will make the gamers amongst you guys very happy, but while the panel supports Windows dynamic refresh rate between 60 and 120 Hz, G-Sync or FreeSync are missing unfortunately. PWM is also present across all brightness levels with 479 Hz. But enough about appearances, let's see what HP can squeeze out of the thin chassis in terms of performance. As with most gaming notebooks on the market today, you can set your desired performance mode in the Omen's gaming hub. It is very cluttered and looks more like a storefront, with the actual settings for your machine being a few clicks away. And we really hope HP can streamline this process with future revisions. When it comes to pure CPU grunt, the small 14-incher performs admirably and might not quite offer the same performance results as the AMD-powered G14 or Blade 14, but it comes very close, up to a point where it really should not make a huge difference during everyday use. Subjectively, the Omen is a very snappy system overall, but in our system performance tests with PCMark, the relatively low wattage cap for the RTX 4060 is starting to show, with much lower numbers compared to the competition. That said, the fast RAM and speedy SSD that can maintain its excellent transfer rates without any sign of throttling offer no reason to complain and add in turn to the very streamlined overall user experience. Again, when it comes to pure GPU loads, the Omen is simply not able to keep up with competing notebooks that allow much higher power levels, and while HP advertises 50 watts plus an additional 15 watts of dynamic boost, we rarely saw the small system coming even close to 65 watts of power draw. And it really shows in our 3DMark rating, with even the Surface Book Studio pulling ahead of the Omen and the Yoga Pro 9i with an 80 watts RTX 4050 coming very close to the HP's 4060. The story continues in our 1080p rating, even though the performance gaps aren't as pronounced. Overall, the performance numbers we are getting are pushing the 14-incher much more into the everyday notebook category that can also game, rather than being a pure gaming machine. And please do not get me wrong here, you can easily play games with this one, especially if you stick to Full HD, and easy 60 FPS is possible for most titles. And with the help of DLSS or even FrameGen, even ray tracing or higher resolutions will be possible. You just have to keep in mind that other notebooks with the same hardware config will be able to provide better overall results. Despite the lower power targets and the vapor chamber cooling solution, the HP does not seem to have the edge when it comes to fan noise. If you have the system in DGPU mode, the fans will always hum away slightly, even in less demanding loads. So if you only watch videos and write texts, you should put the small notebook in its iGPU mode for almost silent operation. When pushing the Transcend 40, noise is tied to the chosen performance profile, and to give you a little more of a subjective impression, we once again recorded some noise samples for you. I also added a speaker test for you guys, and while you can absolutely listen to some tunes, the Omen is definitely no match for the G14. Away from the wall, the HP delivers solid numbers without breaking any records. With a little more than 8.5 hours, the Omen is a solid everyday companion, even away from any outlets, and therefore emphasizes its mainstream notebook qualities. Alright folks, it's about time to wrap it up for today. The Omen 14 is an impressive first try for HP's first 14-inch gaming-focused laptop. And while it does carry the Omen brand, I feel like it falls much more in this hybrid category and can easily deliver as a jack of all trades. Are you looking for a thin and relatively lightweight office companion with solid battery life? Well, the efficient Intel Meteor Lake CPU and great keyboard got you covered. Are you more into a Netflix machine with a great display? Well, the OLED delivers. Or are you a casual gamer or creative that needs a portable machine for some on-the-go photo or some light video editing? Well, the Transcend 14 can do it all. You just really have to manage your expectations what the relatively slow RTX 4060 can deliver, especially in regards to some competing notebooks. That said, when compared to the Blade 14 or the G14, the Omen is considerably cheaper for a similar configuration, giving it the edge when shopping for a premium notebook. At least it is in the US, while prices in Europe are more in line with an RTX 4060 config of the G14, which does make it a tough sell if you look at the performance numbers alone. But please folks, let me know what you think about the Omen 14 and which of the 14-inch gaming notebooks that came out so far would be your personal pick. Sound off in the comments below. If you want to dive deeper into all of our results for the small HP, please head over to our website. We have a lot more data for this puppy. But that should be it from my end for today. Please help us out with your like and sub on your way out. Thanks a ton for watching. My name is Alex and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.